What's good with it, YouTube? You already know. This is Big Flacco, man, supporting Mr. Mass 15, man. And right here is one of the 4 videos that me and him did together. We're going to drop this one on this channel, as well as we're going to drop another one on our experience with Carnales on this channel, man. Hope everyone have a positive. Man, stay tuned, tapped in, man, and support my boy and subscribe to his channel, man. It's always good when a new content creator comes and gets some new blood up in here. That said, I'm gone.
As you can tell by the topic, we're going to be talking about the rise of the SNY groups, man. Um, during my era, we started hearing about them. They didn't really make no noise yet. A lot of times they would, sell soldier and whatnot, but they would slide through and they would fucking do movidas on certain homeboys. How is it now out there in Salinas, right, with the SNY groups? Like
Uh,
I know for me, what I hear about in San Jose, Santa Rosa, and all these areas, they're out there on Front Street. They're not afraid. They're not hiding. They're actually out there. Programming and functioning and letting it be known who they are. How is it in Salinas?
yeah, man. In my perspective, honestly, from what I heard, right, because I don't keep in contact with certain individuals like that, but from what I heard is that they're out here, man. They're out here. There's a lot of them, and from Salinas, the point of view from Salinas, from the homies, is that that's their main goal, that's their main target. Like they got to get rid of these individuals because they're becoming a lot, and they're becoming a hassle to their establishment. And some of those individuals are sliding on the homies. You got what I'm saying? Instead of the homies funking with the Sureños, being aware of them, they got to be aware of the riders or the SNY group, whoever they are. You get what I'm saying? But there is a lot of dropouts out here in Salinas, and they have their own little cliques and their own little gangs, and so that's one thing that the homies gotta be aware of. And that was really rare back in the days. It was rare for you to be a dropout and to be out in
I,
Salinas roaming
I
around.
almost got smoked in Salinas by a dropout, a known dropout, a dude named Corey Shadow Lopez, bro. I don't know if you've ever heard him. He ended up getting killed, right? But he almost smoked my ass in, I think it was 2001, bro. And then so you started to hear a little bit more about them being out there, pushing the. And see, some of the stuff that you hear about them, you can't always take it to be truth because sometimes people push personal narratives on a dude because they don't like the dude. He may not be in good standings, does not always mean that he's part of a movement. But now you got these dudes, they're throwing up gang signs. You got the Flora, what do you call it, the Flora Nettles? You know what I mean? The new
Yeah,
flowers. You got the riders. You got the Nuestra Cosa, and you even got people like that are from like independent riders, 2 fivers, and Zapatistas that are from up north. So it's kind of hard to really fucking fall a line to where people are from nowadays, man.
yeah, and not and
And
not only that, right? It rises a flag too, where it's like some of these individuals, they used to be northerners, they used to be norteños, and so they dress the same, they look the same, they talk the same. And so say they're a writer, and there's another homies coming up, young homies coming up, that they don't know that much better. They look up to that, and and get caught slipping and get smoked, because they could probably pretend too, bro. Like they could be like, oh, what's up, I'm a homie too, without them knowing. You have the tattoos and everything, but they don't know that he's a dropout or whatnot. You get what I'm saying? And so individuals could get caught slipping like that too. Have you ever thought about that? Like,
I thought about I thought about this part, right? I thought that maybe eventually what's going to end up happening is you're going to have individuals that get pushed out politically, right?
right.
That have pull in certain neighborhoods that are going to embrace a whole nother movement, and that you could have. I mean, there's cities up north where the whole city is just one hood. You know what I'm saying? Especially in the valley, where you have the potential for a whole hood to fall fucking under a whole nother bandana and become generational, to where they're not norteños no more. They're riders or they're new flowers or whatever they may be.
Yeah,
Because
and
all it
kind
takes is maybe 2, 3 dudes that are fucking known to be solid, that have a fucking falling out politically, that have pull within their neighborhood, who could fucking sit there and pretty much turn that hood over. I think that's the biggest risk that you can have potentially happening. Think about it.
yeah,
You know, if you had
kind
people from
of,
like let's say Gilroy. Gilas is a pretty established Norteño town, but if you had dudes that were political figures get pushed out, right, unjustly, that people look up to, you have the same situation that happened in Fresno. You get what I'm saying?
exactly.
That's how Fresno was being able to be established. I think it's eventually going to happen because, like I said, it's not target practice like before because people aren't really focused on knocking down ops no more. You get more praise for making money than you do for knocking down an op. And it seems like the only ops that people want to knock off are when fucking people who are active are making money and someone gets pissed off about it.
Yeah, if you don't contribute to it, then yeah, if you don't give the NF or whoever members, pay the percentage, they're gonna get you, and best believe they will get you, because I've been in those situations where, you know it brings up another topic as to, with the homies. Like, I used to be out here, doing things or illegal activities, and I had to be paying a percentage, and some of the homies from my hood hate on me and be like, oh well, he did this and he did that and he's not paying up, put him on freeze. And sure enough, they'll put me on freeze, and until I have to pay a certain amount of money, and like, leave me alone type thing, right? And so it's just a cold dirty game, man. Like, I had to pay up
I
a
mean,
few times.
homeboys snitch on each other more about their activities than anybody else. They'll
Exactly, and
sit there,
have a big
you know what
policy
I
of no
mean?
snitching, bro. And then that's another thing, right? When you're in prison, when you're in jail, you're in the county, you're in the prison. We have a policy of no snitching, right? And so the homies, they sit there and snitch on one another all the time. Oh, well, he's sleeping, or he's doing dope, or I seen him that he's over there talking to someone so and so, or he's doing this, or he's doing that, snitching amongst one another, right? And then we's like, bro, like, why are you snitching on one another? But they don't call it snitching; they call it
Reporting.
guiding you in the right way, and
You
correcting
know,
you.
and to me, that doesn't bring forth a good climate. You know what I mean? Because the goal isn't to unite the people because that's been established once you decide to become a Norteño or Norte, whatever, represented. You already united. It's to bring unity. You can't bring unity when people are always fucking reporting each other, or when people are fucking scared that the next man's going to report you. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Because there was a time there in prison where you had those that played politics and those that didn't. And so certain homeboys would not associate with homeboys that played politics because they were worried they were going to get reported.
that still happens.
Y-
It's still going on
It
right
still
to
happens.
this day, bro.
Yeah.
I've been through that, and I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, we'll call it a fucking the police officers. The homie police officers, the homie gang task. Like, or like the actually homies that will actually sit there and politic with one another. And like, you have your groups. You have like the knuckleheads. You have like the homies that like to get high, and you have the homies that are pushing a hard line. So it's like, amongst our the homies, amongst our organization, there's different type of cliques that one hangs around with each other. You kick it with who how is the saying go? You kick it with who you are, pretty much. You got what I'm saying? So like, the person, the damn, I'm not finding the correct way to explain it, bro. So it's like, say for example, I'm a smoker, right? I'm gonna associate myself with other smokers. Like, this
Mm.
individual likes to work out, he's gonna associate with the people that likes to do a lot of workouts, and so on and so forth. And so they have a lot of groups like that, and it at the end of the day, man, it all changed, and I seen it change drastically from years, and it's continuing to change, and it's gonna continue to keep changing and changing, and a lot of things are gonna keep happening. And like you mentioned, like, that just discouraging a lot of homies, and a lot of homies are, falling off, willingly, not necessarily because they have bad paperwork, and a lot of individuals, they got done dirty, they politicked against them, or he did something that, wasn't approved by someone else, and like, the red on red thing too, so like,
Well, see, I was always against the red on red, I was only for red on red when it was violent warfare. But if you had a personal issue and you weren't going to raise your hand in a violent way to take somebody out, and it just became physical, I was always handling your business because I used to have homeboys that would report red on reds, and I would fucking squash the issue because I was like, that's personal. That's not red on red. You're not set tripping. This is between you and him as a man. And see, there's homeboys that
exactly.
will hide behind that red on red, and sometimes they're the most biggest cowards and weenies there is. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure you've experienced that. They'll just go
Man,
report someone because they can't stand on their own 2 feet. Gangster Gucci, his situation with that one rapper, that's a prime example of someone abusing the red on red policy. See, red on red is only when you do something knowingly towards a Norteño because you have issues because of your set tripping and this and that. It has nothing to do when it's a personal thing. Personal, let them handle it as man. If you have to intervene, it's only because one side wants to go further than just fucking than fighting. Now, I
exactly.
don't think that certain homeboys can always push an agenda on a homeboy because they can, because otherwise you're gonna fucking breed bullies. So it has to be a situation to where there's really an issue. It could be over a fucking woman. It could be over a little disrespect, a family issue. Instead of fucking getting the homeboy deemed, fucking go deal with it as men. But now what they do is they want this. They're finding people. That's the easiest way for them to clear someone. They feel that if you put money forth, you're proving your worth because you're
Yep.
benefiting them. And I don't think any of those issues should ever be dealt with monetary purposes. I think that resorts back to what the MA used to do, and I think that the ideologies of the NF were never supposed to be to oppress and fucking tax people. But that's exactly what happens. The NF has become their own MA. That's the truth of it.
Exactly. Like you mentioned before, history repeating itself, and it's just a cycle that keeps going and going and going and going. And different games are gonna come out of that establishment,
I
and
was part
that,
of that, bro, at one time. Some of those taxations and fucking finding people, I became someone that some a part of something that what I was doing was not what I believed in. I didn't believe in that shit. The first time I met a carnal from Salinas when I was smoking on the streets, right? His name was Chico Rose. You probably heard of him, right? He ended up flipping during Operation Black Widow, but he'd been a carnal for a long time. And when I plugged into the regiment, he goes, "Do you know anybody that does dope?" And I said, I'm about better than our gente. I don't believe in selling to our own people. He said, "You will be better than our gente," and that stuck with me. Years later, I'm fucking contributing to the same fucking negative stuff in the community that I stood against because I thought we were supposed to be out there trying to establish legitimate businesses. Yeah, we'll go tax some drug dealers and do some shit like that, but why do we have to do all the work? You know what I'm saying? If we're the mob, we can fucking control every facet of the life. But that's the problem with all these groups is everybody feels that they have the right answer. But what happens is everybody, like you said, does the same thing the next man does. Everybody thinks that they're smarter than the next man, and you get a bunch of indictments. And when you have indictments, the first thing that's going to happen is whenever you mistreat people and treat people wrong, like a lot of people do that have authority positions, not all, there's some good C's, bro. There's some good bros. But if there's some that mistreat people, they're going to be the first ones to be one to turn on you because of how you treated them. So none of these dudes that sometimes get fucking people flipping on them, they're not all innocent, bro. Sometimes they're being flipped on because people have done people wrong.
yeah,
They've abused their positions, they've oppressed their own people, and you reap what you sow. So if you treat your gente right and guide them in that right direction, you're going to have less people that are going to be inclined to want to report you. That's just my opinion. I'm not against. I don't support SNY gangs, and I'm not against them either. It's hard to be part of one thing and then, consider that bad, and now all of a sudden this is supposed to be good. That when I was all active, I considered that as bad as it could be. Based upon actions that I've seen. Now I've met a lot of good dudes that are on the SNY side that are part of these gangs that are good individuals. So nowadays I look at everybody at an individual level, whether you're active or inactive. It's you by your actions now.
your
And
character.
see, that's the one thing when you commit to these groups, you're now attached, associated by that group, not by who you are as a man. And so therefore you have to act in a certain way. And that's where you get all the falsehoods of how people act. And ego means everything in this life, the gang life. So sometimes people are pressing for that recognition. Even though we're told not to look for personal recognition, we're all doing it for recognition. Everything anybody does in that life is for recognition. Otherwise, you wouldn't be part of it. And it's easier now to take a step back and call shit for what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's never going to achieve
Exactly.
nothing. You're not helping the gente. You're not helping the community. You're only fucking contributing to fucking kids being taken from homes and mom, going to CPS and dad's going to prison, um, ODs and all this bullshit that happens with these communities now. We've done nothing to safeguard the people that we're supposed to safeguard. And it's only until people start to realize that, the gang element needs to be taken out of this and a whole different cause needs to really be bred about the ideologies that were taught at one time. It's not taught like that. It's about fucking money. And now you got Northerners that are being killed left and right in the system. And during my time era, we never killed a Northerner. That would barely ever happen. You'd have to have some fucked up paperwork for that to happen. But now you're getting killed because you're fucking freelancing or because you got into it with a big homie. That's some bullshit there, man.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. It's all corrupt nowadays, bro. It's messed up, and I seen a few homie, I seen a few good individuals, solid individuals, bro, that like they get removed, and unfortunately it's because one homie didn't like him, a big homie, he's a big homie, and or freelancing, just like you mentioned, like when we are in prison, the homie was bringing in dope, bro, and the homies will want to keep majority of it. You get what I'm saying? And he's bringing it in because his family's struggling out there. You know, he had his reasons
Yeah,
as to why he was bringing things in, so he could provide for his family. And
that's
he
his
had his
hustle.
kids, his family. You get what I'm saying? And then here's the homies that money hungry. They want to keep everything. They want it all to themselves. And at times, say for example, he'll bring 2 ounces. They'll give him half of an ounce. And they'll keep the rest. And be like, oh well, for this carnal and so. And then now they start telling them, well, you can't bring in stuff for yourself. You got to bring it in for us, and we'll give you a portion of it. And it's like he's putting his family at risk. He's putting himself at risk. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if he gets
This
caught,
this
they're not gonna do nothing about it. They're not
this
gonna.
generation of carnales, bro. This generation of carnales that are being pulled like the last 5 years, they haven't made no sacrifices, bro. They ain't done shit. They couldn't have been bros in my time, bro. That's the fucking crazy thing about it. The totem, the totem pole dropped. The quality dropped.
Yeah, exactly. Anybody nowadays gets
Because they're
pulled.
seeking one purpose.
Before,
You know.
even before, to be a brother, you had to have 2 removals under your belt. You had to shed blood behind the walls or out in the streets. You get what I'm saying? And nowadays, I've seen a lot of individuals like, just because they're family members, they're relatives, or he's the big homie, you know him, and you dick ride him all day long, and he puts you on without you even having a removal. And we know we had a lot of those individuals in Pleasant Valley, and we used to be like, bro, like anybody gets put on here. You bring in some money, you bring in some dope, and everybody, you could get put on. All you gotta do is stroke some fucking, some huevos or something, bro, and they put you on. And it's like without even having removals, and all these individuals, they feel like, oh, they're really big and tough and this and that and that. But we just like, bro, like you're a pussy, bro. You get what I'm saying? It's like you're not about that life. Like you haven't even earned it.
It's
You get what
yeah,
I'm
it's true,
saying? So
bro.
it's like
It's true.
it's just all messed up nowadays, bro. And before, like before, it was rare for you to even be a brother. It was rare for you to be a norteño soldado at that. You get what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
when you back in, like, in 2000, as far as my experience from like 2009, 10, 11, 12, during those years, if you were a norteño soldado, or soldado, it was rare, bro. You know what I'm saying? So we are like, oh, that's the big homie. Like we knew he did things. We knew he shedded blood behind the walls. We knew he put in his
Hmm.
work, and he earned that status. He didn't need to just get handed down because he fucking dick roast somebody. But